Is perfectionism crippling your business? See, perfectionism is one of the 4 biggest issues for entrepreneurs and business owners across the world. Now, people who've never dealt with perfectionism might not think it's a terrible problem to have. I mean, after all, doesn't being a perfectionist make you more likely to be motivated and successful? Well, it doesn't actually work like that. See, perfectionism can make it hard to actually manage time and deal with everyday problems, because perfectionists often get hung up trying to do even the least important tasks absolutely perfectly. Now, to find out if perfectionism is something that's impacting you and preventing you achieving your goals and dreams, then I want to give you 5 signs that you might be a perfectionist. The first one is that you perceive everything in black and white. So you only see 2 sides to everything. It's either right or wrong. It's good or bad. You either take first place in the competition or it's a waste of time. There's no middle ground. And because of this black and white belief system, anything less than perfection is simply a failure in your eyes. The second thing is that perhaps you have unrealistic or demanding standards. You might often feel an unhealthy sense of competition, and the expectations and the amount of pressure that you put on yourself isn't always reasonable. You might have times where you feel stressed or anxious and fearful of even imagined failures that might be lurking somewhere around the corner. And you might play to win, but sometimes you might not even take part in activities when you feel that others could outperform you. You might even procrastinate over projects when you have this fear that you might not even be able to excel. The other thing is that you're probably highly critical of yourself and others. You might even feel angry or resentful when other people fail and fall short of your own high expectations. And since you might believe in only one right path to any goal, you might find it necessary to do most of those tasks on your own and struggle to trust or delegate or even ask for assistance. You might also believe that asking for assistance is actually just admitting to failure. The next thing is that you might believe that you're not enough on your own. In other words, your self-esteem and your perceived value to others can only be proven by your most recent accomplishments. You might wrongfully believe that your value in this world is actually reduced by any error or oversight that you might make. And finally, you put off following your dreams and goals. How many times have you set aside your dreams and used perfectionism as an excuse? Do you ever find yourself not taking part in activities that are new to you simply because somebody else might be better? And you simply can't bear the thought of making a mistake or looking like a fool in front of others. Now, if any of those things resonate, it's likely that you're struggling with this behaviour pattern of perfectionism, and I know how this feels. So today, in this short video, I want to give you 3 tips to help you manage perfectionism on a daily basis. The first one is to prioritise. See, I believe that what will happen is you'll often spend far too much time trying to perform mundane tasks perfectly. And one way to combat this is to prioritise your daily activities before you start working on them. So list everything that you need to do in order of importance and try and tackle the most important tasks first. That way, if you're finding it hard to let yourself finish a task and move on, at least you'll be spending that extra time on something that's really important. Tip number 2 is to try and take mistakes in your stride. Now, if you're a perfectionist, you will know that when you make a mistake, it can feel crippling, and it can often derail your productivity for the rest of the day. But making mistakes is the best way to learn. So next time you mess something up, try and force yourself to analyse what you did wrong and figure out how to avoid the mistake next time. It can be easy as a perfectionist to get caught up on the mistakes themselves. But try to remind yourself that by taking the time to learn from those mistakes you can do things more perfectly in the future. The third and final tip is take a perspective break. So next time you find yourself panicking over some small detail that isn't quite perfect, try to take a step back and give yourself a perspective break. This simply refers to a very basic process of asking yourself how important a task really is. It's a trick that can be surprisingly helpful for perfectionists, because by forcing yourself to acknowledge whether whatever you're doing is important in the long run, you'll be able to recognize when you're obsessing over less important tasks, and that'll save time to allow you to work on things that actually matter. Now, these tips can definitely help, but they're just one piece of the puzzle. Like taking one block from the Jenga tower. The tower doesn't collapse when you move just one block. And that's the same for patterns of behaviour, just like perfectionism. Things may improve a little, and you might feel better for a while, but you'll never end perfectionism permanently. And it will always feel like a constant battle every day. Now, if you want to know the truth about behaviour patterns like perfectionism and how to end them permanently, then I want to invite you to join me on my next Your Invisible Power Masterclass. It's going to be 3 hours live and virtual with me, where I'm going to reveal the truth about behaviour patterns like perfectionism, exactly how they are created, and why you've struggled to end them in the past. I'm also going to reveal why we don't do the things we know we should, and why most people struggle to make any permanent change, as well as the truth about how our mind really works, and how it's our identity that holds us back, as well as a little known secret that proves beyond any doubt that change can be made at the identity level without any need for daily practices, long-term therapy, or any other strategies. Why not click the link below and reserve your place now, and take the first step to ending perfectionism forever?